Carrie and Tommy will launch in just a second to brighten your day. With CommBank Yellow, you get discounts and exclusive experiences. More recognition for you and benefits for your business too. Say hello to CommBank Yellow today.
It's the one and only
Carrie Bickmore.
And Tommy Little.
This
Is Carrie and Tommy.
Yeah, welcome to another Carrie and Tommy podcast. You got to make sure you're following on the socials at Carrie Tommy Show. How are you guys going?
Someone's come back with a new look.
Yep, I've run out
Private schoolboy, are you now?
Thank you.
You're wearing a shirt with a jumper over the top.
Someone,
A sweater.
A sweater vest.
someone has been away and has not done any washing, and so these are the clothes that I don't wear.
I don't believe that. I believe
Why not?
because
Because-
lately
What a
no,
foot to get off on.
No.
This is why I'm wearing this. I don't believe you.
No.
Wait, nothing's
because you-
changed. Stop pretending like it was going to.
I tell you why I don't believe it.
Yes.
Because lately you've been experimenting with fashion and you experiment and pretend there's a reason you're wearing it just to see how it floats for a bit. And then if people like it, you
Oh,
adopt
you reckon he's
it.
in his nerd era?
I reckon he's just in his trying new things era, but it's cool of him to go, I got no washing left. Oh. That's what I think's going on.
Okay, well, I don't know why, but
And
I'm
it
saying
looks
what
great.
I think.
It looks great.
It looks ridiculous.
Your mummy in your mansion must have dressed you this morning.
Is that you? What are you talking
You
about?
look like you've been dressed by your mum.
Welcome back to you too, Carrie. Very nice to see you. Hey, we got heaps coming up on today's show. We got a prize that often we give away something, and it's once. You get your one whack of prize. There you go. This is something that keeps on giving for a whole year.
It is such an amazing prize. We'll announce it later on. But up next.
Up next, as I mentioned, I've been away, and I don't know if you've ever tried it, Carrie, but I have been doing some parenting, and turns out it's not that hard. I'll tell you about it next.
Carrie and Tommy.
It's Carrie and Tommy for your Monday Arvo.
I went away. I went over to across the ditch to visit our beautiful friends
New
over
Zealand.
there. New Zealand, oh no. And stay with one of my best mates and her kids. She's got 3 under 5. So it
Whoa.
is.
What a handful.
There would be less excrement. It's just stuff everywhere. It's chaos. Like you walk in and you think I'd rather be in an asylum.
Yeah.
Like
It is a version of an asylum.
100%.
In fact, you know when they talk about like different ways to torture people, just sending them to a home with 3 under 3 or 3 under 4, that'd do it for you.
And it was my holiday. But I absolutely loved it.
away.
Her kids they're wonderful, but they're so high energy. And it's 2 boys that are 3 and 5, and then a baby girl. And the boys, their energy is
like
so
you?
infectious. Yes, it's like I'm hanging out with my peers.
Oh my God, so your poor friend had to look after you as well, another child in the house.
And so I was so excited to get there. And then one of the little boys, the 3-year-old, he had a basketball. And I said, oh, do you want to see something? And he goes, yeah. And he hands it to me. And I spun it on my finger. And he goes, wow, Tommy. And then I went, and then I went like this. I don't, what's this? And I threw it behind my back and through my legs and stuff. And he looks at me and he goes, Tommy, you're so cool. And I was like,
that was easy.
And I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Finally, someone gets me. And how cool
Is that
I
the
am.
3-year-old or the 5-year-old?
The 3-year-old.
That's
The
right.
5-year-old was rolling his eyes. He goes, no one spins a ball in a finger anymore, you loser. And I thought...
I saw Tones and I doing that the other day. She's really good at it.
Better than Tommy?
Side note.
Yeah.
Sorry. She's really good. She's great at basketball, but she's great at little
She's
spinning
great at
finger
basketball.
thing.
Yes, she is. And I made a couple of errors, let's say, because I got heavily involved when I was there. I was playing with the kids all the time. And at one stage, the boys said to me, they said, let's play mums and dads. And I said, well, what's mums and dads? And they're like, okay, you be the mum. And then one of them goes, I'll be the dad. And I just started to feel a bit weird about it. So I was trying to make it. I know it's not weird. They're kids, but
It's like when I breastfed my sister, remember?
yeah, that was weird. You were 15. and so I thought, oh, what about we have some different roles? And then the boys have hung out with my dogs and they go, oh, we could be your dogs. We'll be Rocky and Rambo. And I said, that's a great idea. And so then they start hopping around on the ground, right?
On
And-
all fours?
On all fours and go, ruff, ruff. And then one of them was so cute. When he'd jump, he'd accidentally fart. And so he'd go, ruff, ruff, and then jump and go, and then turned to me and go, pardon me. And then roof again. But I said, attack your dad, right? And so then they roofed over and they started attacking dad, but they did it. They weren't biting. They were licking. And I didn't quite know how to make the dogs game stop. And so for the next 3 days, I'd
You
just
just
be
got
standing in the kitchen and then I'd feel my shin was wet and I'd look down and it was one of the boys just licking my shin going, "Arruff, arruff." And I'm like, oh.
Can't just say stop.
No, you can't.
You can.
Carrie, you don't get parenting.
Is that why you've come back dressed as a dad with your collared shirt on and sweater?
I think it's quite a fetching look, thank you.
No, it does look nice. Yeah.
And I don't know if you can criticise my breakdancing friend over there.
I like my hoodie.
Yeah, I know you do.
It has shrunk in the wash. Don't be mean now. You've told me before you like it. You're just saying that now because I'm being mean to your clothes.
Yes. That's exactly how it works. But I said so that wasn't great. So I turned him into dogs for 3 days. That wasn't a great start. And I thought, we're getting along great. Maybe it's time to impart some knowledge on them, right? Because my mate and her hubby, they were, working tirelessly as all parents do to put food on the table and make them meals and make them separate meals from what we were eating and all this stuff. And I remember distinctly when I first cooked for someone when I was in like my 20s and they said thank you when I gave them their food. And my heart broke because I realised my mum, despite the food being dog shit that she served me my whole life, I never once said thank you as a kid. And I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, all you want is to say, and
especially before it's not eaten, before it's pushed off the high chair, it'd be nice just to get a thank you.
Yeah, of course. and so I said to the boys when I sat down at the table with them and their food got put in front of them, I said, hey boys, your mum and dad took a long time to make that food, and that's
oh my God, you're now lecturing them. You've gone from making them lick like dogs to
I know.
I can't get a read on this Tommy guy. Like, he's so fun and then so
swirling
boring.
a ball, and now he's telling us to say
he used to be cool. And I said, should you say that? Just want to say thanks quickly for making the food. And the 3-year-old looked at me and he goes, when are you leaving? And I said, oi, that's not that nice, bro. And then the 5-year-old goes, you're a poo-poo head.
Yeah, got him.
And I was like, where's that basketball? I got to spin it again and win some back. I want to know on 13-10-60, when have you tried parenting?
for a day. How long were you there?
Your friend's kid, 3 days. When have you tried parenting? And how tits up did it go? Because after 3 days, these kids were licking me and then telling me when am I going home and I'm a poo-poo head. Give us a call, 13-10-60.
Carrie and Tommy.
For your Monday Arvo, it's Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little. And on 13-10-60, when did you parent somebody else's kids?
Well, when did you give it a go? I was away with my friend's kids and for a fun game, I don't know how it happened, I turned them into dogs. And then they spent 3 days licking my legs and barking.
At least they were like annoying you and not the parents. That's probably quite helpful.
No, everyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
they were dogs for 3 days,
They were
not
dogs.
just your dogs.
No,
to
they were
you.
dogs
Yeah.
for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then I suggest they say thank you for the dinner that they got given. And they responded by staring at me and asking me when I was leaving, which is a
Parenting's
lot from a
tricky.
3-year-old.
Yeah.
I want to know, how did you go when you gave parenting a crack? Give us a call, 13-10-60.
I had a go at parenting, well, not parenting, just parenting, but playing with my nieces and they wanted to play Barbies. And I was like, great, let's have a bit of imagination play. But then it quickly deteriorated into Mean Girls.
Yeah,
And
right.
then Kaz looked at me and was like, it's probably not, like, this is not a great way.
Did you put your Mean Girls
you
voice
going
on
like,
that you
oh,
and
mate,
Tommy
Oh
did?
my God, don't you think that what is Kelly wearing? And they're
My
5.
girls would love if you did that.
Yeah, I know, but then Gaz was like, I don't think we should be teaching them that that's how people interact with each other.
Kelly's such a mole.
And I was like, but Kelly is a mole. Look, whoa.
The rest of the family's like, where is your niece learn the
Where
word
is-
mole?
Yeah.
And where is Scrag
And why is it
come
all
from?
about Kelly?
G'day, Amy.
Hey,
How you going?
yeah, I'm okay.
What happened?
So we had a few friends over the other week, and I decided to give the 3-year-old a water pistol. It was only a tiny one. And then he decided to target my partner, and then we started calling him Dan the Waterman. And we haven't seen him since, like this was inside. And then we went over to their house on Saturday, And as soon as we walk in the house, the 3-year-old's holding a pump bottle and he goes, "Oh, Dan the Waterman," and was insisting on getting in with the pump bottle. So now it's just stuck and it's a thing now.
I mean, that's
No-
okay for you, though, Ames,
No
isn't it?
parent loves nothing more than a water pistol inside. It's like when they get out the Nerf guns and they start going at the vases and stuff. And you're like, guys, it's so fun for them, but not for you to clean up the mess.
It's so fun. Is there? So, what is indoors?
Acceptable.
Because I
What is indoors?
Sorry,
What is
I've lost
indoors?
all control. So at my house currently, they're riding their scooters and their bikes inside.
yeah, but
But
see, I'm fine
that's
with
the
it.
necessity,
So-
though, because it's quite far from some of the rooms to the other room.
No, I just because it's such a she's learning to ride her
When
bike.
the shuttle's not working.
And whenever it's not, she wants to learn to ride without her. What are they called? Why can't I speak?
pedals.
No, the
training wheels.
Training wheels.
Well done, team.
And every
Yeah,
other
we got
surface is got a slant around the property, not the property,
The acreage.
No, the
It's a
block.
hillside
Put him on the
mansion.
horse. Put him on the horse track.
And so inside it's flat, and so she's getting good practice going around the lawn.
I think that's fun. I had a mate's kid around at my house the other day, and he was bouncing the basketball inside. And my mate goes, "Buddy, can you not bounce the basketball inside?" And I said, "I don't care." And he goes, "It's not for you.
yeah.
It's annoying for me." And I was like, okay, good.
What about Nisha? Hey, Nisha.
There. So I was in the UK, so feeding my niece for at the time, and I was like, "Hey, it's time to have your lunch. It's lunchtime. Have your food." And she turns around and says to me, "Hey, maybe you should get your eyebrows divorced." I'm like, that is savage. You are 4 years old. Holy heck! And I have no comeback.
That is such, but also what a great way to describe a monobrow. Why
It's
don't you
great.
get your eyebrows divorced? It's so funny.
Nisha, did you
Get them divorced.
get them divorced?
I did, because I felt so seen. I was seen.
Oh my gosh,
this
Nisha!
kids are
I'm
so
sorry, that's
brutal.
so funny.
Carrie and Tommy. Carrie and Tommy.
Around Australia, if you drive home, the Savo is Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little.
And the one and only Andy Allen joins us. G'day, Andy.
G'day.
And we should point out you are here because Masterchef Australia Back to Win premieres tonight, 7:30 p.m. on 10 and 10 Play. But because I believe you have a
No,
pressing issue.
it made me laugh because how different men can be with each other than when there's a woman involved. You walked in and you looked at Tommy and you said, "Geez, you've trimmed up a bit."
Yeah,
if
what's
you
wrong with
walked
that?
in and said that to me, it would be highly offensive because you're implying that he was a fatty. And now,
Yeah, that's
how he's
true.
lost
It
weight.
is true, though.
That's
But
true.
Both
Very
things are
true.
true.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed you didn't say to Carrie that she's trimmed up. So
First things first, I'm glad we got that Masterchef plug out of the way because that might be the last time we'll talk about
No,
it.
we want to talk about it. All the good food
That's
that
so
you like
right.
cooking that makes you a little fatty.
What
You,
would
Andy,
be?
but Tommy.
Yeah, blame me. What would be the appropriate thing for me to say to you?
Oh, no, I need nothing other than hype, but I just thought it was funny how that's the first thing you said to him.
Andy, what's your favourite food that makes you fat?
Ice cream.
Yeah.
What
I
Simple.
bought an
What do we-
ice cream machine that I
Oh,
make
really?
for the
You got
kids.
the ninja thing?
Oh, my God, I can't stop eating it myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
Carrie, you can't just now have ice cream every night.
Bread? Like
Bread.
you've been in your baker phase too. You still in it?
Yeah, it stopped working for me.
How?
I think my
it's the
I've got
same
a yeast
recipe for
problem.
thousands of years.
No, I think I've realised I've been using my yeast too long.
Okay.
Anyway, boring. But
Right.
yeah, I'm out of
Yeah,
my bread.
I
Also,
think
the bread
my-
made me into a little butter bun. So
Yeah,
I've got
mine
to stop
too.
eating that.
Bread and ice cream.
Can I dig down more into the ice cream? Talk to me specifically. What are you going?
If I go, like, I'll do anything really.
Yeah.
It was a bit like a bit of nostalgia. I don't have much nostalgia from my childhood with food because it wasn't a huge part of my upbringing. But like even just like an old school Neapolitan, I don't know, like
Strawberry.
What?
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's wild. The
That was the
strawberry
one we
is a
left.
rogue,
That's the one we
yeah.
left.
And like you would carve every bit of the chocolate would just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
demolished.
Absolutely.
Then you get
No.
onto the vanilla and you'd like scrape the last bit of the vanilla off before you had to touch that strawberry.
I loved the strawberry.
We
so
left
much.
vanilla. And we got
left
told
chocolate.
you're not getting a new tub until you eat the
Really?
vanilla.
So you- because I think
it's
With Milo,
vanilla's
make
the
it
middle.
chocolate.
just be a little mohawk of ice cream in the middle of this tub. And then sometimes when we were running out of freezer space, you'd open the tub and there'd be like frozen peas jammed in next to the strip of
Oh my
vanilla.
God, really? Inside the tub?
Yeah, inside
There's
the
no
tub,
more
'cause they were
room,
those, like,
so we'll just
4-litre
fill the
tubs.
gaps.
Yeah, there'd be a steak or something. Oh, not a steak. We just had snacks.
Yeah, it was like, how good could you trowel the last little bit of ice cream off before you hit the dreaded strawberry?
So this is people who didn't win this season of MasterChef, people who didn't win, but they're back to
Win.
lose again.
Lose? Well, most of them will. 23 will. Which is funny.
24? Gosh.
Yeah, 24 is a lot.
A lot of losers.
A lot of losers. There'll
Yeah.
be 23 again this year. But interestingly, we've got 3 that have tried again and are back again.
Oh. Did
Laura,
they get better
Callum,
last
and Sarah.
time?
Well, Laura's come second twice, the poor thing.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I don't know. Callum's back.
Callum's a lovely
Oh,
man.
Callum was
Yep.
lovely. Yes.
Yep, season 2, we all remember the old snow egg.
God, was that him?
Yeah, that was him. He was 19.
Snow egg sounds like a sex move.
Does
Yeah,
it?
it could be.
Snow egg?
Yeah.
It doesn't to anyone but you.
I won't go into details.
Did you think sex?
I mean,
when
I
you
didn't
heard
have
snow
a
egg?
vision.
No.
Like,
Do you
because
now?
mate,
Do you now?
no,
The
I think
producers
of
are
the
saying
beautiful
elaborate,
Peter
Tommy,
Gilmore,
but this
yeah.
is MasterChef's a family show.
Yes, it is. Well,
Yeah.
families are made somehow.
Yeah. You're really just digging in
Sure.
here, aren't you?
Hey, Andy, can you stick around? Because up next, I want to talk to you about a food they eat overseas that I thought could kill you or does kill you. Anyway, let's talk about it next.
Carrie and Tommy.
Your Monday Arvotos, Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little. We're still joined by Andy Allen. MasterChef is back tonight.
Andy, I am very new to cooking, but I love it. You mentioned just before that it wasn't a big part of your childhood.
Nah.
When did you fall in love with cooking?
So,
Or sorry, do you love it?
yes, I love it. It is pretty much my whole life. It was at a reasonably old age, considering I went on MasterChef when I was 23. It wasn't until I was about 17, 18. And we grew up in Maitland, which is a country town. But we had like a little caravan, on-site caravan at Fingal Bay. We go out fishing, and it was all about just catching what you, cooking what you caught. And it started off very basic, and then the kind of we can't just flour every piece of fish that we get and put it in a pan. And so and then I remember the moment that I was like, it was Mum's 50th birthday. And it was the first time that I really tested myself in terms of we had a bunch of family come over. We caught a dozen fish that day. And I was like, look, I got this. Mum, Dad, you relax and we'll see how I go. And I just got this real sense of beauty about cooking and feeding people. And that's probably when I was like, okay, let's go on MasterChef. And my mate dared me $500 and I took his money and away I went as a little ripe old 23-year-old.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because I've got a 17-year-old son, and like, there's obviously lots of things, parents, that you're trying to encourage your kids to do. But from the time he was little, and I think because he was an only child for so long, and my mum and I would cook, he just was forced to, as one of his activities, instead of going out and playing soccer, he was in the kitchen cooking. But he can cook. Yeah. And I always think, like, for a man to be able to cook is one of the most attractive things. Like, of all the life skills I want to give him, cooking is one of them. Yeah. And ironing, so that no one's ironing his stuff for him.
Yeah. Cooking is, and I love food because it's like anywhere you go in the world, you can have that connection. Yeah. Like, and that's why the one thing that I wish that I did, everyone's like, is there anything that you regret? I regret not cooking around the world because, like, you don't even need to.
What do you mean?
Well, like getting in a kitchen.
Like going to Italy
kitchen.
and then, like being a chef somewhere.
Yeah, because like I think that's so beautiful that you don't need to speak the language, but you can step foot in a kitchen and learn the ways that, what you need to do to become part of this brigade, this team to get food out to the punters. So as the one thing that I wish
that I did. It's
not
too late. Where would you go?
Shit, I'm pretty old.
Go do a little
and
secondment somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be Italy. It's so romantic
like
over there.
Tuscany or something.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a chef recently, and he, because I'm just excited about food from around the world. And I asked him. I said, "Who's making the most exciting food at the moment?" And he said his answer always used to be Korea, and then he said now because he's just been in the game longer, he said it's a bit too simplistic. Like all the food, it's all so strong and stuff. And he said that China is making the most interesting food in the world.
Yeah, I haven't been to China for a while, but I mean,
do you have any
Chinese
thoughts on where
dish?
you think? Well, he was telling me they're doing crazy things like, and I know, we've got to be careful with what we encourage. So don't cull sharks, certainly. But he was saying they ferment sharks for like days and then they will serve it as a delicacy. He said they're just doing things that nowhere else in the world is doing.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere in the world that you think is making particularly amazing food?
I still fall in love with Japan. We're over there over Christmas. And I feel like they're either doing the same beautiful thing that they've done for thousands of years, like to the best that they can possibly do it. I just love that, they'll only do one thing, but they will do it so well.
Yeah.
We will do a lot of things in Australia. We'll do a lot of things pretty well, but someone will just do one thing their whole lives and just master it. And I feel like that I could never do it, like, because I just get, I just next thing. But like for someone to just dedicate their life to slicing fish or to making okonomiyaki or whatever it is, and that's just their thing, and you really do taste it over there as delicious.
Have you had chicken sashimi?
I haven't.
Is that raw chicken?
Raw chicken, yeah.
Doesn't that make you sick?
Nah, sorry. Andy, Andy knows more about this.
Raw chicken doesn't make you sick, but it has a high
ability to carry.
To have salmonella. Yeah, so I was going to, and then...
Oh my God, I should stop being so anal about my... I get so stressed if I see a little tiny bit of pink in my chicken. I'm like, out, we've got to dry the hell out of this chicken before we can all eat it.
So it drives me crazy being in the restaurant because we always use, free range, mostly organic chickens, birds, and... I think we're brought up with birds that were just like, in a cage and doing nothing. So there's no blood flow. So they're basically just white. Everything is white. Oh. And so when you use a free range chicken or something that actually moves, there's blood flow. And so if you cut through the bone and go through like...
You'll see pink.
There will be...
It's raw.
Exactly right. Yeah. And so it's common. It's always happens. My chicken's raw. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's free range. It actually moves.
Yeah.
Well, it was moving at some point, and it's had a great life to get here, and that is why you're sending your chicken back.
So did you ever have, sorry, back to your question, did you think about having the chicken sashimi?
Yes. And then I was with my wife, Alex, and she said that her friends thought it'd be a great idea, and then 12 of them got sick.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just couldn't roll the dice.
Oh, God.
Imagine. Family holiday, I'm down.
Wow, we might see it on the new season of Masterchef Australia. Back to Win premieres tonight at 7:30 p.m. on 10 and 10 Play. Andy Allen, always a pleasure. Thank you, bro.
Beauty, guys. Always good to catch up. Thank you.
Carrie and Tommy. Carrie and Tommy.
I've got this TikTok dance down pat, just going to say.
Do you?
I've been doing it all weekend with my daughter.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was very big a couple of months ago, so that is a bad.
Hey, the main thing is I get there.
Yes, that's
Doesn't
right.
matter how quickly I get there, I get there.
And are these going on TikTok or are you just...
No, I don't
Are
let
they
her
sitting in your
post anything.
drafts?
So we just we make them on CapCut, I think it's what it's called.
Yeah.
But then she's not allowed to post anything. So it's just for our own enjoyment.
Yeah, that's
great.
Bit of family fun.
Yeah, it's like
It was
home
actually so
movies.
nice on the weekend because I had my cousin, her daughter, over for the weekend to stay. And her and my daughter were making little videos of them dancing together. I think they were dancing to Michael Jackson Thriller or something. Anyway, yeah. Song choice is interesting. But anyway, but it was literally what we used to do as kids, dance around the living room and make dances. And I was just like, it was so beautiful watching that carry on through the next generation. This was not what I was going to talk about now, but it actually made me quite teary and quite emotional.
That is a very lovely moment.
Seeing the connection between like the next generation, but them doing the same things, the same simple things, like making dances together.
That is very lovely. I think we need to talk about what happened on the weekend because I think you might have stitched me up royally.
Why?
Because one of...
This is not what we want to talk about
This is
now. I
not
had
what we were
another
gonna talk
thought.
Because one of your friends was over and you just sent me a message saying, hey, if you're round, this friend's over, drop in for a drink.
Oh, yes, because she wanted to catch up with you.
Yes. And so I dropped in to find, and I thought I'd see your girls and they'd be rapt to see me. And they just went, where are your dogs? And I said, what? And they said, where are your dogs?
No disrespect, but they couldn't care less about you. They only care about canine friends.
But you must have told them I was bringing the dogs because they expected dogs. And I certainly didn't tell you I was bringing dogs.
I don't know. I think they were just disappointed you didn't have
Yeah, I
dogs.
feel like once you
Most
brought
of my
them
friends
once-
that stay at the
But
moment
I
come
brought them-
with their dogs and then they stay with their dogs. So I think
But Carrie,
now,
I've been to your house.
a lot of time without your dogs, yes.
I've only ever been once with the dogs and it was
so
over a
maybe
year
that's
ago.
a message to you.
I reckon you said to them, he's bringing dogs.
No,
and
I
so
don't
I
think
got
did. because you don't ever come with your dogs.
But they've never said that to me
I
before.
think they're just bored of your company and they want to see
Yeah,
your
it could be
dogs.
fair enough.
But I was thinking on the weekend, so I went out for dinner on Saturday night with my kids. My dinners are getting so quick. So we sat down for dinner at 6, and I think at about 6:28, 29, it was still in the 20s, we were fully done dinner. So in half an hour, all of us had eaten dinner.
You were eating takeaway, but at a restaurant.
We were. And we'd had such a nice time. And my
Had
son
ya?
wanted to go home to
Had ya?
study. We really had. I'd had a Prosecco. Ollie wanted to go home and study. Evie wanted to have a Yochi. And I wanted to get to bed.
How can you do it that quick? Like to order and
Oh,
get
because
it
straight
back?
away you get the kids menu, go, come on, everybody, order. They also want
This
you out
sounds like a
quickly
good time.
so that they give you the food quicker.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is there ever a good time that you want it to be done in under 30 minutes?
What do you mean? I'm happy with it done in under 30 minutes.
Anything. So I have a rule
Oh,
of...
and any other things you want done in
anything,
life. Oh.
Anything in life. Anything in life that you go, this is amazing, it needs to be done in under 30 minutes.
Musicals.
No, I said this is amazing.
I love musicals, but I reckon they could be first half.
Your
we no
favourite
longer
movie
need
is
the
The
second
Sound
half.
of Music that goes for 3
Even that
hours.
there's edit notes I could give to that to keep it to make it a bit shorter.
Yes.
But anyway, it made me laugh because Addie was getting quite tired, and I was like, well, we better go then because she's getting tired, right? And then I thought back to my own childhood, and we didn't go out for dinner very often growing up, but we'd probably go out for dinner once a month, and we'd go to this Italian restaurant called Cappy's. In Midland in WA, and it was just like the only restaurant I think my parents knew about, or maybe it was the only one in the area that we lived in, right?
Yep.
And we'd go down the hill and we'd go down to Cappy's for dinner, and we would be there for hours,
I
like
know.
hours. And there was no talk of going home because we'd eaten. We'd crawl under the table.
Yeah.
I'd use my jumper as a pillow for underneath the legs of the table so they didn't hurt my head, and I would sleep under there. Sometimes all of us would, the kids, the three of us, would sleep under the table for a good 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I remember
while
exactly
our
the same
parents drank wine and ate pasta.
I remember very occasionally, if it was a BYO joint, you'd get lucky enough that you'd get a Goon bag. Like
As a pillow.
And then when that wasn't around, I remember using a foot, like my dad's foot would be my pillow. But every now and then he'd forget that I was there, and so he'd pull his foot back, and so I'd get waken up by my head hitting the ground, and then I'd get scared and go to stand up, and I'd be under the table. So it'd be like, boom, boom, boom.
Like you never see kids under the table anymore. No kids sleep under the table anymore.
Are you saying bring it
No,
back?
I was just thinking how I'm having dinner as a parent in and out in 28 minutes.
Do you reckon
And my
parents-
parents just,
But
I
maybe-
mean, there was other things I used to do at the end of that dinner that I'm glad no one does anymore because times have changed, and I don't think that that's responsible.
What are you talking about?
Well, how did they get home? You know, we didn't have Ubers back then, and I don't know, but I'm just glad times have changed in that way. But I do think
why'd
our
you bring
kids.
that into this?
Well, because I did often think, like, I also thought, how did they stay there so long? And I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, so forget all that because that's not good.
So what are you saying? Bring
I
back
just
drink
reckon,
driving?
no.
Sorry, I'm
That's
No,
the bit
she's
that
not
I-
saying that. She's insinuating
That's
it.
the bit that I said, I'm so glad times have changed because that was so irresponsible and I can't believe that we are ever okay with that as a society.
But the main reason you went home from the dinner, so maybe this is still happening. I'd love to hear from people if it's still happening. if
No,
kids are
no
still-
one's putting their kids to sleep under. When was
I
the
reckon
last
it might
time
still be happening.
when dinner ended, you saw people pull the tablecloth up and pull children out from under a table?
But to be fair, I mean, because I don't have kids, I'm not going to those restaurants that we used to go to as a family. Like, I'm not going to those big kind of faster pasta joints that we'd go to when we were kids.
Where are you going? What do you mean?
Nice restaurants.
Yeah, but like I reckon a lot of families just eat and run because their kids are tired. No one's letting their kids sleep under. I just think harden up, kids. Who hasn't had a
Hang on,
sleep
hold on.
under a
No,
table?
but
You went
didn't do
home
it.
because you wanted to go to bed at
Sorry,
6:30.
I'm the bad
you're
example
telling the
because I
kids-
quite like an early night. But if I'd been there with friends and we wanted to kick on, the kids would have been a handbrake.
Kick on
you
sounds
know?
like too much
No,
now.
I know. I know. We've gone from
It's like-
6:30 to 6:30.
I want to know 13, 10, 60. What other stuff do you just not see kids doing any. What are you laughing at?
No, Eli's yawning over in the corner.
Yawn.
Put him under the table.
Get under the table, Eli.
Eli, go for a nap under there.
13 10 60. If your kid still sleeps under the table, we'd want to hear from you.
Yeah.
But I want to know what stuff you just don't see kids doing anymore that we used to do with them we used to do back in the day as kids.
Yeah.
Give us a call.
Carrie and Tommy.
Your Monday Arvo, it is Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little for the drive home. And on 13 10 60, what kids just don't do anymore?
It's made me laugh so much because it is like we have a child in here sometimes. Tommy just looked at me. I'm busy. I've got so much going on. And he goes, Carrie, why aren't you just giving me any attention? Honestly,
Yeah.
like a
Fair
child.
question. Still stands.
But what are you doing?
I've got stuff to do when the songs are playing.
Name it.
I was organising some flights for a trip we're doing on this show.
But
in
we
a
were
couple
all
of...
talking about that. And
No,
you just weren't
before that,
participating.
I wasn't. I was looking up flights.
And what did you want to do
You were
that you
looking
needed attention for?
Yeah, what did you
It was
want that you need
important.
me to watch?
It was funny.
It wasn't. Anyway.
Just can't say it on air.
We are talking kids because I went for
funny.
dinner with my children on Saturday night and I was in and out in 28 minutes. And I was just thinking how back in the day, back in the olden days, my parents just used to whack me under the table, not physically whack me. Although
They probably
I think
do,
that
though.
did
You
that
can't
a
do
couple
that
of
anymore
times.
either.
Put me under the table and I'd sleep there for like 4 or 5 hours. And we didn't have pillows. We didn't have like now, if you were to do that, I'm sure parents are bringing like a little pillow, a bit of blankie. We had none of that. We just shiver underneath the Cappy's
Should've
Italian
brought a jumper.
restaurant table. Should have brought a jumper is what Mum would say. Yes. Shay, do you still do this with your kids?
I do. And it happened by accident the first time and it was such a success. I've done it ever since.
What do you mean
That's
a
great,
success? Is in they just stayed asleep?
Yeah, so we were at a restaurant in the Hunter Valley and it was a really nice restaurant and the kids all started to get a bit tired and I went, no, I'm having 3 courses tonight. So we got 2 directors' chairs, put them together for each of them and they both just crashed.
Oh, so not under the table,
So on
Shay.
some chairs.
They wouldn't let us put them on the floor.
Yeah,
They just
see,
said,
they don't let you do
"Patient
that
health and
anymore.
safety."
I feel
Yeah.
like chairs are a step up from under the table, Shay.
They are a little bit, and I reckon that's why they stayed asleep.
That's so good, Shay.
How was your third course?
Oh, it was great.
How wonderful. Would you consider?
terrible, sir.
Would you consider bringing like kind of a lazy boy,
Like
like,
an-
one of those, those camper chairs that fold down to nothing, but you can kind
Or
of
just
lie
a
down in it?
mattress, a blow-up mattress.
Imagine walking to a nice restaurant in the Hunter Valley with a couple of blow-up mattresses.
Also, that's why it's so good as a parent going to those pubs that have the play areas and like the magicians and stuff. You just send your kids in there and they're occupied for hours.
There's pubs with magicians?
Oh my God, that could be your new profession.
What do you mean?
Yeah, they sometimes face paint, have magic in there.
Hang on, I'm only interested in
Kids
the
fall
magic
asleep
bit.
in the bit where there's the slide.
But there's magicians.
Yeah.
In pubs.
Yeah.
I off air, tell me these exact pubs.
Why are you going to go there?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's my 2 favourite things.
Yeah, but you're not a child. What are you going to play in the play area? They're
No,
like
I was
McDonald's
gonna-
play
I was going
centres.
to pay the magician to come out and do some tricks.
Oh, I don't know the caliber. They're playing to like kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Heath, what do kids not do anymore?
Oh, no, they don't go out and play out in the streets and
Yeah.
go down to the dams swimming or
Yeah.
down to the lakes. Used to do that all the time as
Yeah.
a kid.
So
I used to go catch marron in the dam. There's no way I'm setting my kids down to catch marron.
Really? we had a dead end around the corner from us, and it was just as soon as the sun came up, all the kids from the neighbourhood would go down to
Oh.
Dead End Street, and we'd play cricket and footy and basketball and stuff. Heath, does that just not happen anymore?
Mate, I don't see it much anymore. My kids sit in front of the screens all day long. If they're not at school, they're sitting in front of screens.
It is funny, Heath, and I don't say this with judgment because it's happening in my home too, but like you're the parents, you could make them do that. You're talking like they're independent, I mean, I guess they are creatures that won't do it anymore, but I'm sure our parents just sent us out there, Heath. Didn't give us an option.
As a kid, mate, I wasn't sent out there. I just went out there.
So would you send your kids
Come
out
on,
there?
come on. I have sent my kids out to play and they crack a bit of a tanty, but they get over it and they enjoy it when they get out there.
Yeah. I'm a bit confused, Carrie. Are you a bit confused?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Heath's just battered down like I am. It's hard.
It's hard. You're exhausted. G'day, Rick.
How you going, guys?
Yeah, living the dream. What don't kids do anymore?
Sit in the back of utes, drive around the back of utes, mate.
Oh, so fun.
yes.
I actually had a...
But they could fall out, Rick, and hurt themselves, you know?
Yeah, but Carrie, you're from Western Australia like I am. That was only banned in 2000.
Was it?
So-
Is it banned?
Yeah. No, it was banned like in 2000. So we were all driving around the back of utes for ages.
Rick, I have a friend who has a station wagon and lives in the country. And when the kids are good, they get to ride in the boot because that's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I had a boot ride with them the other day, and it is so much. Obviously, you shouldn't.
You went in the boot
with the kids
and rode around.
Yeah, and when we treated it like an Uber, so we opened up the back of the boot and then went, "Hi, what's your name?" to the mum. And she's like, "Gabrielle," and I'm like, and she's like, "Where are you guys off to?" Which it's a misunderstanding of the app because it should be in. You should already have the address, but I got the kids to give the address. But yeah, bit of fun.
What about Maddie? Hey, Maddie.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. What are you calling about?
So my dad was an Irish musician and I grew up as an Irish dancer. And
Sick.
We used to go basically be roadies at the bars and the pubs for St. Paddy's Day. And we'd be there till like 2 or 3 in the morning. I'll be getting rowdy.
Would you stay awake?
Sometimes we'd stay awake. Sometimes we would also fall asleep under tables or on like the booth seats and stuff like that.
Maddie, you're dancing. Were you doing that library upstairs, party downstairs dancing where you like your top half of your body doesn't move but your feet are going mental?
Pretty much, yeah.
How great. Hey, Maddie, I heard a thing. I don't know if I heard it, read it, or whatever, but maybe you can tell me if it's true. Michael Flatley, to stop his body overheating, he had a bucket of ice by the side of stage and he would dunk his head in it. Is that true?
Look, I've gone on tour with Irish dancers before, and I don't know about the head thing, but they definitely stand in buckets of ice, like, after the shows and stuff.
Stop their feet
like,
being swollen.
Your muscles are just so sore for, like, hours. Like, you just got to, like, ice bucket challenge body up, like,
just with
kind
your
of
feet.
situation. Yeah.
Good on you, Maddie. Thank you.
What about, let's end with Jocelyn. Hey, Jocelyn.
G'day, guys. How are you?
Good. What do kids just not do anymore?
Well, it wasn't me, but it was my husband growing up in the 90s. In rural Victoria, he used to hitchhike. He would get a bit tired going out with his friends and he'd hitchhike, get a car lift on the way home.
Yeah.
I've never Have you hitchhiked? I've never hitchhiked.
Yeah, we talked about it on this show.
Oh, did we? You know, I
2
never
weeks
remember
ago.
everything we talk about. Jocelyn, how old was he at the time?
I think about 9.
9?
Yeah.
Oh, God. What? I thought you said he had a boys' night out. Where had he been?
Soccer.
Or something with his friends going fishing, as you were talking about before. But he didn't want to walk up the hill, so he stuck his thumb out, and a lady picked him up.
Wow. I mean, the good old.
Carrie and Tommy. Carrie and Tommy.
Driving you home from 3 till 6, it's Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little.
I had such a vulnerable interaction when I was running the other day. So I've been training, obviously, for the Big 5.
Yes.
And I'm much better at running on my own. We've tried to run together and I'm so slow. I become so self-conscious. Then I weirdly become out of breath quicker. When I'm running with somebody than when I'm running on my own.
No,
and I need to take breaks, whereas I don't need to take them when I'm on my own.
That's not what happened. What happened was you asked me, would you like to go for a run together? And I said, I would actually love to. It'd be great for both our training. And then we met at the car park where we were going to go for the run. I got out of my car, you got out of yours. And then you put your headphones in. And I didn't bring headphones because I thought we were going for a run together. And you said, oh, no, I can't.
No, because we've done some runs together where you try and chat. I can't talk and run. I'm so unfit that I can't, right? I need the music to motivate me. And you're doing this new thing where you're, what's it called when everyone on the plane, they...
raw dog.
Raw dog.
No, I'm not trying to raw dog
You're
anything.
raw dogging your runs
Hang on.
now.
That's not raw dogging.
No, you are.
To,
You spoke about the other day how you like to take in nature now. You used to listen to podcasts and now you're just at one.
With all due respect, what are you talking about?
Do you now run with music and anything? You said you now run with nothing.
No, I didn't.
You did last year. You said you were getting into running and you were running with nothing.
No. Well, sorry, if I did then, I lied. Anyway, I listen to music or audiobooks.
Well, you didn't for a period of time. I'm telling you what you didn't do.
And with your tone, I better agree.
No, because I remember thinking, how do you do that? That's why I clocked it, because I can't not listen to music when I run.
I think you're getting things confused. I said when you ran the Great Wall, you shouldn't listen to stuff. Because when I was in Antarctica, I didn't listen to stuff. Because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Okay.
And you don't
Maybe
need
I
to hear
misunderstood.
Katy Perry's Roar 12 times.
But anyway, so back to you and I running, which is not what I was going to talk about here. But because I'm so conscious of the fact that I'm slow, I thought if I keep my music in and pretend you're not there, that I can run with you.
Why'd you ask me to run?
Because I want to seem inclusive, and I also
Seem is really good.
It's like everybody on the group WhatsApp that you're not on. Actually, I should tell you something because you're not on the group WhatsApp. Dinner on Friday night for the whole team's cancelled. Not everyone can make it, so you won't look at that because you're not on the group WhatsApp. But dinner's not on. But anyway,
I didn't
everyone
know about
on
dinner either.
No, you're not invited. Not this group team WhatsApp, the running team WhatsApp. You're not in that one. Be thankful that you don't have another WhatsApp to deal with.
I just found out and unfound out about a dinner.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of people on there are running together, and it fills me with such anxiety because I just don't like running with people, but I like the idea of it. So I thought if I put my headphones in, then you could chat to yourself and we could run next to each other. I still think that's a nice thing to do.
You could have given us a heads up and I would have bought headphones.
But I thought I was actually helping you because I thought then it'd make me run faster. Because at the moment I run so slow, you almost have to go backwards.
No, you're a wonderful runner, but
I'm
the
not.
talking would be nice.
I'm like 5 minute 45 Ks. It's very slow.
It's not too bad.
Also,
is that not too bad?
That's pretty good.
That's a lie.
What do you mean?
You're not doing 45 Ks.
I literally am doing 5:45 Ks.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, that's great work, Carrie.
Well, I did this morning. I did 10.4 kilometres in an hour. So would that be about 5:40? And I'm sure it kept saying 5. I don't. I often don't run with my watch.
Well done, Carrie. Sorry, I take it back.
I can't believe you
That's
doubted
excellent.
me. See, it feels slower than that when I'm running next to you. See, it's when I'm on my own that I do better. Anyway, I want to tell you about what happened when I was off running on my own up next. Can I do that?
Yes.
Carrie and Tommy.
Around Australia, if you drive home, it's Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little.
Okay, so we've now settled the fact that we should not run together because I can't.
I don't agree. I
Tommy
want to run
slows you
with
down.
But I didn't get to tell you what I wanted to tell you about when I went for a run the other day. I had that vulnerable moment when I ran. I was into my run. I had my headphones in, and then coming towards me, I was like, do I know that guy? And then just as he got to me, he raised his hand and said, Carrie. And I raised my hand. I said, hey. And this is the vulnerable interaction where I stopped, took out my headphones, he waved and kept running. I thought, why, like, should I, what is the right thing to do? And the person it was, I'm going to name you, it was the wonderful Alan Duffy. He used to come on the project. Is he an astrophysicist? He wears a bow tie.
He's a space
Delightful,
guy.
Lovely man.
Gorgeous.
Of all men I thought would have stopped, Alan Duffy.
I
thought Alan Duffy would have stopped, but then I was like, maybe he's doing training for something and he's in the zone of something. He mentioned something about marathon. I didn't know if he mentioned mine or his. I don't know. But he didn't stop. He just gave me the gentleman's wave and kept going.
Can I tell you what happened?
What happened?
Because he said, hi, Carrie, and you said, hey, meaning you didn't remember his name in the
I did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Carrie, you had to ask us before.
No, I couldn't remember.
What's that guy who used to be on the project with the bow
because I
ties
just suddenly
name?
forgot before because
You said just as the mic went on, you said, what are we calling him again?
No, because the first name that
name.
came into my head was Matt Agnew, and then I remembered it wasn't Matt Agnew.
But that's just all the time.
But so in the moment, so you didn't say his name in the moment, right? So he's gone, hey, Carrie.
No, because I kind of went like, oh, hey.
Sure.
Like
But
I'm
you went,
excited.
But you went,
We're on a
hey.
run together, but we're
And
not
if someone
together.
did that to me, I'd go, oh, God, they don't remember my name.
No.
And so then I'll
He had
run
his
away.
headphones in.
He probably wasn't even on a run.
think we were
He
just-
started to run away when he realised you didn't know his name.
Carrie and Tommy.
So now that I'm in full-blown running mode, training for the Big 5 marathon that we're doing together to raise money for my foundation, Carrie's Beans for Brain Cancer, I'm at the point where I'm getting bored of the music I'm running to, so I'm experimenting with other stuff. DM me if you've got great songs for me to run to. I like upbeat.
I reckon you should get into some. I've been revisiting a lot of Juice WRLD, Carrie.
Oh. Is that the
also-
concert I wouldn't let my son go to? Is that Travis Scott?
No, Juice WRLD's dead. Valet.
Does he have a song called Juice WRLD? No. Okay. Was his concert called Juice WRLD? Why am I thinking Juice WRLD? No, nothing. Carrie, Mum, be quiet.
But there's some great Juice WRLD stuff.
Okay, so anyway, on today's run, I rediscovered some old Taylor Swift stuff.
We listen to different stuff.
And I, as I often do, I get onto things a long time after they were big. In fact, I don't think this song was ever massive, and it was from her Lover album called The Man. Do you remember the song?
I'm so sick of running as fast as I can.
Which is good because I was running.
Wondering if I get there quicker.
Yeah, and I would absolutely probably have gotten there quicker if I was a man. Anyway, I started to properly listen to the lyrics because you can listen to a song and then you can actually listen to a song.
Oh, I get you.
and I was listening to the song, and it was such a great song, the whole thing. And I didn't realise that she wanted to bring this song out for a long time. She's been wanting to write it for most of her career, but she could never figure out exactly how to phrase what she was trying to say, which is just if she'd lived her life exactly as she'd lived it, but she was a man, what different things she would have faced, what, a scrutiny she wouldn't have faced. And she talks specifically, one of the lines I really like is about the fact that there's a lot of comment about the number of guys Taylor Swift's been with. She's always got a new guy and she's rotating through all of them. And a lot of the time everyone's like, she's a bit of a we all know how a woman who is with lots of men is described.
I'm not meaning to sound deliberately naive. I did not know that. All I've known about Taylor was Travis Kelce.
No, because a lot of the time it was like she finds the guy, breaks up with him so she can write her next breakup album and all this kind of stuff. But then she talks about the idea that if you're a famous man dating lots of women.
I would be complex. I would be cool. They'd say I played the field before I found someone to commit to. And that would be okay for me to do.
This is the line I like.
Every conquest I had made would make me more of a boss to you.
Because isn't that true? When you're a guy that's dated lots of women till you find the right one to settle down, you're not like a player in that way. You're like, oh, you're just waiting to find the right one. Whereas for a woman, it's like you're a dirty
I don't agree with those views, personally.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody does.
Well,
it's a society
you can't
we're
speak
in.
for me on this.
Then she talks
No, I
about the fact that how hard she's worked and that she's always been questioned about whether she's any good, whether she deserves the success, whether she writes her own stuff. The comments to her are endless.
They hustled, put in the work. They wouldn't shake their heads and question how much of this I deserve. What I was wearing, if I was rude.
If I was rude, I love. If you're a man and you are a bit of an asshole at work, you're just being a boss, right? If you're a woman and you're a bit of an asshole at work, then you're a complete another bitch. The rules for men and the rules for women in power are so different.
But so tricky in this instance because you are the boss. But it can also be a bit of
Anyway, she goes on. She goes on. Let's just play the song. Listen to the song this time. If you're a woman, go, yes. How often is it so unfair to be a woman in this world?
Yes.
Taylor,
Let's
back
hope
in 2019,
Taylor can finally
you had a great hit
get
that
some
I've only
success.
just discovered and I really like it.
Carrie and Tommy.
Around Australia for your Monday afternoon, it is Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little.
Because as you and everybody listening knows, life is expensive at the moment. Cozzy lives, as people who are trying to appear young call it. The cost of living is...
Cozzy lives.
Have you not heard that?
No.
Oh, you're right in the demo of using it.
Cozzy lives. That's not a thing people say. Is that what they're saying about the cost of living? No one in our team is all younger than us, and none of them have heard that.
No, I didn't say young people saying it. I said old people who are trying to appear young.
Oh, like me. Yeah, right.
Yep. We're on the train.
Do you know the other day I was talking to a friend who had decided to go on a family road trip over the Easter break because traditionally, obviously, driving somewhere is so much cheaper than flying there. And she said by the time they added up the price of the fuel for them to get to their holiday, she said we might as well have caught a Jetstar flight there. It was so expensive, even just to go on a camping trip with the family that was, maybe 4 or 5 hours away because of the cost of living at the moment.
Yes, and obviously it's a big problem, one that we can't fix, but we can hopefully help.
Carrie and Tommy love giving you life-changing prizes.
To do what you want to do.
They've done it time and time again.
I'm going to London.
You're coming to London to see Ed Sheeran.
Going to New York.
You're going to see Taylor Swift.
You're coming to Paris.
But this time, it's different.
You got to live your life.
This time, it's longer. Carrie and Tommy have something where you don't just win once, you win every single week for a whole year.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. It would be life-changing.
They've run the numbers on what you need the most. And for the next 5 weeks, they're paying for it for an entire year.
Carrie and Tommy's live for free.
More offers, more benefits, more thanks. Say hello to CommBank Yellow.
Now that we've got Carrie and Tommy's live for free.
So good.
Yes, of course. Imagine a year where you don't have to worry about the essentials, and then that money that you would have spent on the boring stuff, you can save and spend on the exciting stuff.
And I mentioned before how expensive it is to drive across this beautiful countryside of ours at the moment. This week's prize in our Live for Free is a year's worth of fuel.
How cool.
We will pay your fuel bills every week for a year. Imagine having that out of your list of things you've got to pay for each week.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
All you need to do is search Carrie and Tommy on the Listener app, and then we might call you. And if we call you, you have
What have you
to
got?
answer.
I'm going to pretend. Okay, let's give Sandra a call now. Pulling in the number.
Hang on, am I Sandra?
Yeah, you're Sandra.
Okay.
Dialing, bidding, 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 bidding.
Yellow.
Yellow is how you got to answer. You didn't
Yes.
sound very much like Sandra then.
Oh, sorry, go again.
Yeah, sorry. Bidding, bidding.
I wasn't unsure when you said I'm going to pretend, and then you made me pretend. Okay, yep, I'm
Bidding, bidding. What's that as a phone? Bidding, bidding.
Anyway,
Bidding, 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 bidding.
Yellow!
That's better. You got to answer with a yellow when we call, and you could win a year's worth of free fuel.
With CommBank Yellow, you can score even more recognition for you and benefits for your business too. It's their way of thanking you for banking with CommBank. Ongoing eligibility and T's and C's apply.
Just give us that last line, that last little bit again, but as Sandra, please.
It's their way of thanking you.
Follow Carrie Bickmore and Tommy Little on socials at Carrie Tommy Show.
Bye.
Bye.
Carrie and Tommy love a good deal, and CommBank Yellow has plenty. Cashbacks, discounts, and exclusive deals. Just for banking with CommBank. Say hello to CommBank Yellow today.